Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I'm here this beautiful Monday morning with David.
Hello.
And we are here to talk to you about how to make the most of this week's energy, which is really asking us to reflect back on the reason that we're here on planet Earth in the first place. I think for a lot of people, we're looking for our purpose, right? I'm sure if you're listening to the show, you are a person on a mission to find your purpose if you haven't found it already. And this week is one of those unique opportunities where the universe is going to send all of us signals constantly. If you haven't already started to see it, open your eyes and start to look around, because you're going to get more than any other week of the year clues as to what brought you into this particular lifetime. And the reason we know this is because David and I are both Kabbalah teachers. We work at the Kabbalah Center, and the goal of this show is to share with our listeners the most practical and powerful suggestion and advice on how to navigate through what this week is presenting us according to the wisdom of Kabbalah, but in a way that you'll be able to take everything that we spoke about this in this week's show into your life forever and ever. Amen. So maybe, oftentimes we start the show asking a question. Many of you who listen to the show on a regular basis, you know that one of the clues that helps us understand what our work here is in this particular lifetime, and that's really, maybe that's the starting point, is Kabbalah, diverts from, I think, a lot of what people perceive as spirituality, in that Kabbalah teaches your purpose is not outside of you. Your purpose is within you. And a lot of people say, well, I love my job, but I know it's not my purpose. Even if you found even if you work at a charity, right, that is saving the lives of millions of people, that's not why you came to the planet. Kabbalah teaches that you came to this world to transform certain qualities within you that you committed to before coming into a physical body, and to grow in your capacity to share, to shine your light, to give. And I know David he's really biting his tongue here. He has a lot to say, and I've been talking for too long. I caught him off guard.
No, I was enjoying it. We talked a little bit on the way here about the difference between karma, which is what the world at large is familiar with.
Right.
And probably a loose definition of karma is the sum of, this is what we read, the sum of all our past actions, the positive and the negative, determining our fate and our future. And Kabbalah, while Kabbalah believes in karma, Kabbalah probably optimizes it or takes it to another level, and it's the idea of tikkun. Tikkun is a Hebrew Aramaic word for correction. And the idea is that my soul came to this world to achieve its perfected correction, to become the perfected aspect of itself. And what is the bar for perfection? We say that whatever the qualities of the light of the Creator are, which are branches of the quality of sharing, strength, certainty, all the positive qualities you can imagine, these are the qualities of the light of the Creator. And we came to this world to emulate these qualities. But unfortunately, every soul comes to this world with baggage from past lives. Even if you don't believe in past lives, that's okay. We just opened up a Kabbalah 1 and got a lot of people in the class, and one woman came up to me and said, I don't believe in past lives. Can I still take Kabbalah? I said, absolutely. No problem. Don't worry about it. Just listen to what feels right. Kabbalah does believe that souls come one life into the next, and they bring their spiritual baggage, and the point is to correct that baggage. So while karma might say, in past life you killed a lot of people, so karma says, well, you should be killed. That's not what Kabbalah says. Kabbalah says a person who maybe in a past life committed, let's say, genocide and demolished a nation of people, in this life, he might actually come as a spiritual leader in order to have to correct the negativity he did. And this spiritual leader, his job is he has to actually help souls transform and reach happiness and fulfillment. So I know what you're thinking is, could Elisheva have been a serial killer past life? And that very well could be according to laws of tikkun.
Except I know enough about my previous lifetime that wasn't the case.
Yeah, so but someone like Elisheva, for example, she If she is teaching Kabbalah in this life, it could be because she did something horrible past life.
Alrighty. And on that note, I want to clarify something. I think for a lot of people, we look when things go wrong in our lives, human nature is to say, well, what did I do to deserve this?
Right.
Or I'm a good person. What am I doing wrong?
Right.
Kabbalah explains that all of the details of our life, right? I have a brother. I was born into this, city, state, country, into this religion, into this financial situation. My dating life is X, Y, and Z. My children are A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Yep.
Why? It is directly related to the circumstances and the unfinished business from a previous lifetime. I even heard our teacher, Rav Berg, say that, let's say in your 44th year, 37th day, 16th hour, 20th minute, 13th second, you have the same opportunity that you have had in a previous lifetime at that exact juncture as well.
That's right.
So part of what we learned from Kabbalah is that the reason that you want to look into your previous lifetimes is not so I can say, David, actually, I was not a serial killer. I was Cleopatra. We're not looking for who we were.
Right.
We're looking for what we did
that doesn't matter.
or didn't do.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter if you're Cleopatra or you were Elvis or you were a dictator. What matters is what baggage you accumulated and what baggage you didn't release.
And this is really important because tikkun boils down to two main parts that each soul came to this world. And as you're listening to this, try to see where this resonates for you. Tikkun has two main parts. Number one is if my job is to become like the light of the Creator, what we know that the Creator shares, fulfills the vessel. So that is the job of the Creator, that there is a desire to receive this energy of fulfillment, and the Creator's function is to fulfill it. That means my job is to fulfill people in this world. So part of each person's correction in this world, and for the most part, I believe a lot of people are striving to achieve this, is how you give and how you build in this world. So that can be through any modality. It can be you're a teacher, a physician, a musician, an actor, a mom, a dad. You have to find in your soul level how you're going to build and not destroy in this world. And you may go through many different phases before you find what that is. But the idea is to know that you are meant to do something unique that adds value to this world. And you'll know you got there when you feel fulfilled by it and you feel that there are blessings around you. So a person says, well, how do I know I'm living my purpose? If that's what we want to call it, purpose. You know you're living your purpose when the people around you are seeing blessings, that there isn't destruction in your path or in your wake. You're creating value and you're creating fulfillment. Now, that is something each one of us needs to desire, and then the universe will guide us there. And you may go through many bad careers before you get there, but you'll never get there unless you know you're meant to be there, because that's important. We always talk about consciousness in Kabbalah. You have to have certainty that this reality of your purpose exists, even if you're living in a career that you're miserable at, to know with certainty that that career or that path or that way of you giving to the world exists and you will enjoy it. That's Tikkun part 1. Tikkun part 2 is the part that most people have the issue with. A lot of people understand Tikkun part 1. Everybody wants to look for their purpose. Everybody wants to be happy with what they do. Great. What about Tikkun part 2? Tikkun part 2 is transforming the negativity that I have, and even the negativity I don't know I have, but that's deep inside my soul. And that's all the negative traits we know about. The anger, the fear, the jealousy, the cynicism, the ungratefulness, everything around fear. We learned that that's Tikkun part 2. Everything around fear. And what's great about what we're talking about on the show every week is all the people in our lives that we have, everything from family, friends, to acquaintances, to strangers, our soul picked those people to be in our lives because those people are perfect for the activation of our negativity so that we can see our negativity.
Right. And I think that another way that Kabbalah takes this departure from the typical reincarnation path is that it's not about reward and punishment.
For sure not.
I did something good, I get good
I get
back.
something good. Yeah,
right.
that's
Or I
not
did something bad, I stubbed my toe. The idea is that we create our quote unquote movie by choosing to operate on the highest level or frequency possible, right? In any given situation, I can be miserable, I can be a victim, I can be helpless and hopeless, or I can also say, well, wait a second, this is in the script for a reason. What can I do with it? And we've had this conversation because of different topics in previous shows, but I want to throw something, a little frosting on the soul cake. Okay.
Nice.
Many times we've talked in the show, we've taken questions from people, we've answered emails and wrestled with these ideas of, there's this difficult situation in my life. What am I supposed to do with it? My suggestion for everyone this week is to look at it differently, to ask the question, why is this happening for me? Meaning, it's not happening to me. It's not happening because of me. It's not happening because somebody upstairs has a sick sense of humor or is retaliating. Maybe somebody from a previous lifetime is trying to get back at me. No, this situation is in my life, and it is probably a repetitive situation. If we're honest with ourselves, that's my water.
Oh.
Because
Where's my water?
Because this is the best possible scenario to facilitate my growth and transformation.
Okay.
It is for me. It is not happening to me. It is not happening even because of me. It is happening because the benevolent universe wants me to grow, to shift, all the things that David was talking about before, to elevate, to be connected to my purpose, to transform from those selfish, fear-driven, lack-based behaviors. So when you're presented with a challenging situation, a challenging person, a frustrating, use all the adjectives you want, pause and remember. And this is the week to get the most clarity, the most insight, the most depth of any other time of the year. How is this? What is in this for me?
A great example of this is sometimes people, first, all challenges are temporary. All pain is temporary. So if you're going through a painful situation, just know it's very temporary.
I'm just waiting for the comments on that one.
All pain is temporary. And if it's lasting a long time, it's because we're stretching it out and we're not applying the laws of the universe to be able to shorten our process. But all pain, we've all been through pain, all pain is temporary. Now, someone says, well, I'm a good person. Why do I go? Thank you for the water. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody brought water in for me. Why am I going through this challenge? I'm a good person. And to understand this point, actually, that let's just say you are 95% phenomenal. You are 95%.
Thank you, David.
Your soul has been 95% corrected somehow, magically.
Stop.
And you have 5% left. You have 5% left. So, and let's say the rest of the world is the inverse. It's 5% corrected, 95% work to do. So you, relative to the world, are considered, quote, a good person. Now, who's going to go through more challenges? You may think that the people who have the most negativity will go through the most pain. And on some level, that's true. But oftentimes, when we have very little to correct, and we've done so much spiritual work, the universe needs to send much more unique challenges, and sometimes even what seems like very painful challenges, although they are just illusionary, to wake up the good person. Because you got this 5%, and you may think, relative to the world, I'm a great person. So what's gonna prompt you or inspire you to deal with that 5%? Because we can become a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for?
Complacent?
Complacent. We can become complacent when we see, relative to the world, we are good people. So the universe, the creator, sends, the soul is actually requesting it, sending a unique, painful situation to address that 5% that I haven't fully corrected yet. Because my goal in this world is not to be better than everybody else. My goal is to achieve the best version of myself. So it has nothing to do with what's going on with everybody else.
Right.
And that's why good people go through difficult situations because it's all relative to their bar. The bar is set by their soul, not other people's soul. Now, why other times it seems like negative people or people who do negative things it goes on for a long time. It all has to do with desire. When a person desires to transform their soul, they attract the purification process, which is a positive thing. Because once you're purified of your negativity and you're aligned with the light of the Creator, then the fulfillment truly comes. It's a much greater fulfillment than me just taking things from this world.
I think a lot of the fulfillment that we seek in life is really just relief. Right?
That's right.
I'm working so hard, I want relief.
Or numbing their pain.
Right. And so the part of connecting to our true spiritual purpose of being in this lifetime is not being distracted by the small desires for relief. What do you say? Numbing,
That's
escape, pausing. There's so many times, if we're honest with ourselves, that we're just looking for, and that word is really important. We're looking for something that's just enough. Just 5 minutes. I need to escape. I need to run away. I need to be relieved of whatever situation I'm in, and then I can come back and I can continue with the challenge. But this is really the week that we're going to start to see more clearly. And it's, you can look, well, I can give a personal example. I feel one of the questions that we're getting is, how do you know what happened in previous lifetimes? There are certain details that you can get that are not helpful. Mm-hmm. For example, I know that I had a previous lifetime in Italy.
You know this.
I know this. I knew it before when I was a teenager, before Kabbalah and everything.
Is this what you tell your husband so he buys you
Italian food?
A cruise. This is why you need a cruise to Italy.
How do I know that? I love pizza and pasta. No, I'm just kidding. I've been there and I had, again, as I'm saying, unexplainable situations there as a teenager. Obviously, it continued into my 20s and 30s when I was there. But that information doesn't really help me. Mm-hmm. You can gather, one of the things that you can do that sheds a lot of light into previous lifetimes is to do a Kabbalistic astrology reading, because there is an indicator in your astrological chart that tells you what sign you were in a previous lifetime and explains why you chose the details of this lifetime. So it's very powerful. If you're interested in using an astrological chart reading according to Kabbalah to get more insight, you can do that. We have a site where you can sign up for that. I think it's astrology.kabbalah.com. But as far as what's within reach today, in the next 5 minutes, in the next hour, one of the number one things to do is to look or reflect on. You might not see anything in the last 24 hours, but to reflect on your life and the repetitive patterns that you find yourself in. Not only patterns, right? I was in a relationship and they did this to me. This always happens to me. Why is this? Anything you can say, this always happens to me, or I'm a magnet for something. Those are indicators of things you can transform. But if you tend to find yourself surrounded by certain types of people as well, right? People who are insensitive, people who are unavailable, people who are critical. There's clues inside your environment without even, that's why I think it's hard to look inward. It's really easy to look on the outside and notice what takes place in the script of your movie repetitively. What scenes come up, even if it's not every day, it could be once a year, once every 5 years, reflecting back and seeing, well, if this keeps coming up for me, there's something I am doing that's preempting that scenario, and that's where my work is.
I want our audience to think about it for a moment and to know that anyone who's doing something to you or withholding something from you, they don't actually exist. And this is something that constantly we need to be reminded of. I had a student who told me a while back, I'm kind of upset. I'm upset with my husband because he's just not getting this, that, and the other thing. So I wrote to her, I said, the problem is you still think your husband is a real person, meaning that there's only you in the light of the Creator. This is the way the Kabbalists tell us we need to think. That in this world, everyone that is there are just avatars. They're not real people. It's all an illusion. And they are there to create movies for us. It's a game to awaken us towards our higher self. So when someone is not behaving in the way we want them to behave, the first step is to realize they are a complete illusion. if I am upset,
You said this a few weeks ago, and some people flipped out.
but that's okay. That's okay because we need to. This is how it's 20 years we've been doing this. I'm training myself constantly, reminding myself it's an illusion. I hear bad news. This is an illusion. Now, that doesn't mean I don't deal with the situation. That doesn't mean I say my spouse is an illusion and I'm not doing
Or
things
you
for her.
put your head in the sand, or
Correct. What my teachers taught me is when you want to take something from someone, you need to say they are an illusion. When you need to give to them, they are not an illusion, right? Because
Right.
when it comes to giving, we say everyone's an illusion.
Right.
We pretend they're not there. But like that Phil Collins song, you know what I'm talking about?
no.
I don't remember. I just remember
Phil Collins saying something about it. That's very
the
powerful.
Think Twice song. I forgot. You're walking by the homeless person pretending they're not there. Anyways,
Oh, it's just another day in paradise.
yes, that's the one. Anyways, it reminded me because it's this person in the song thinks the homeless person is an illusion when it comes to giving. When it comes to giving, we ignore everyone. We think everyone's an illusion. When it comes to taking, we say all these people are real and they need to give to me. It needs to be the reverse. When I feel I'm hurt or I want something from someone or someone did something to betray me, it's an illusion. So why do I feel bad? I feel bad because the Creator is showing me where I need to be like the Creator. And I need to take full responsibility to transform. And once I transform, I will see the miracles and blessings in my life. When it comes to giving, everyone is real. Your kids are real. Your spouse is real. Your friends are real. Your students are real. Your audience is real. So we need to become givers. So I really want to hammer that home. Avatars, people are an illusion. Do not give power to other people and try to change them or blame them for anything that you're unhappy about.
I had a conversation with someone, actually, I think it was last week, about the political climate in the U.S., which is interesting. And she was sharing with me that it's really difficult for her when spiritual people that she knows, whether well or at a distance, seem to have opposite political beliefs of hers.
Okay. Yeah.
So what we ended up talking about, and it was interesting to see the shift that came as a result, and I believe that there will continue to be a shift as well, that in our mind, when we see someone behaving badly, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience, we have no problem thinking bad things of them.
Yes.
And I don't mean like drop dead bad things. I mean like, what an idiot. How dare they? They're so uneducated or insensitive or what's the word? Racist. Yeah. No, we have no problem to call names in our head. But and that whole whatever name throwing thing that goes on in political circles or accusations, whatever. But we don't realize that we're doing the same thing that the politicians are, just not outside of our head.
Right.
And we had this really interesting conversation that she wouldn't be disgusted with her own behavior if she wasn't disgusted with their behavior.
Yeah.
And someone in the comments is bringing up a really good example of how the people in our lives are a mirror for us. And the qualities, I'm sharing it because I said before, the repetitive patterns are one way to recognize previous lifetimes. Another way is if you look at the qualities that bother you most about people. And it's not, don't look at politicians. Don't say I don't like people who are political. Look at the people that you know, whether they're your family, your friends, people that are closest to you, and think about the things that bother them about you. I promise you share something of that with them, whatever that behavior is. And I think didn't I share a couple weeks ago about it was in my relationship class. I shared.
Not on the show. Not on this show.
Not on this show. I was sharing in the relationships class that one of the things that I've become aware of recently is my issue. My darling husband has a unique perception of time, one that I admire greatly. In his reality, time does not exist.
It's a Taurus perception.
I don't know if it's Taurus. I know other Tauruses that are pretty
really?
Meticulous about being on time. He is not, and he is owning it. So what happens?
He's owning it live on global radio.
He is. I have to say he's doing an awesome job of improving it. However, once in a while, we are late to something and it drives me crazy. Okay. So I'm sharing this with you because, again, this is one of those benign,
Yes.
being late. It's not, hopefully, I mean, it may cause some people to be upset, but it's not the source of all evil in the world. Okay. So what? We're late, right? But it really bothers me.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens when we're getting late? I become Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, that just pushes my buttons to no end. I feel it's inconsiderate. I don't want to be rude to the other people who are waiting for us.
Yep.
Okay. So I had this revelation that he's being inconsiderate, right? That pushes my buttons. So then I let myself be inconsiderate to him.
So say that again?
He is inconsiderate to the people that we're late for.
Yes.
And I get to be inconsiderate to him.
That's very nice.
David says it's very nice.
Very nice
Self-diagnosis. But the realization that if it wouldn't bother me that much, I don't think I'd ever realize it.
Yes.
Right? And I justify it. I should be rude right now because we're doing something that is inconsiderate. So I get to be inconsiderate back.
Inconsiderate.
And that I mean, first of all, revelation of light from that realization, but the recognition that all my life I've been upset with people who are late.
That's right.
Not because it is unethical to be late, which it might be. I haven't gotten to the bottom of that part. But it was really for me to recognize the permission that I give myself to be inconsiderate when I think it's right.
We cannot afford to be negative. I think that's the way we got to look at it. It may be right to hurt someone or get back at them or even be upset with them. It's right. Right doesn't make you successful. We cannot afford to allow negativity to enter our consciousness because what's happening in this day and age, as soon as you have negative thoughts, negative emotions, and negative feelings, the cause and effect is immediate. So you immediately write a new script for your life that is chaotic. Your body immediately goes into a stressful mode that it starts feeding cancer cells. It's not about right or wrong. Somebody hurts you. Imagine if somebody hurts you, and if you get upset about it, it amplifies cancer cells. You would think to yourself, look, this person's an idiot, yes, but if I get upset about this, I'm getting cancer. So for that reason, I will maintain this very powerful consciousness.
By the way, I invite all of our listeners to copy and paste that mentality, right? To recognize that whatever is making me angry right now is amplifying anger amplifies a person's propensity for cancer.
And it does. And medical science backs this. But we're saying, even beyond just the body, if you can maintain this incredibly high level of consciousness, one of building, one of caring, one of rising above what other people do to you, and not suppressing your emotions, because suppressing is also cancer causing. But we know that Kabbalah is the anti-suppression, because what Kabbalah does is it teaches us that every time you let go of something negative, you gain the light of the Creator. And so that removes the suppression. Because suppression is, I stop doing something I want to do, and that's the end of it. And I'm not doing it because somebody told me that's good. You don't actually feel like you're gaining something more. We're learning, have a relationship with the Creator. Even my students who are atheists love this concept, have a relationship with the Creator. Because even if they don't believe in the Creator, they do believe in a universal force of good. They do believe that there's a universal energy. And whenever you let go of something negative, you hold on to this universal force of energy. It becomes part of you, and it guides you, and it protects you. And this is what students of Kabbalah experience, and that's why they see miracles. So I have a couple questions here from our feed. I think they're great questions. Number one from Greg. How can we proactively discover what suspended karma is still lingering for us? How can we prepare for it when it comes? A lot of ways to answer that question. Do you have an answer?
Well, I think Kabbalistic astrology, I mean, I did astrological charts for my children, right? Before they could even start
when they were
dealing
born.
with their tikkun, so that I could be equipped to help support them be their best, have the emotional, spiritual support so that they could face what they need to face rather than avoid it.
So I think you're saying something different, because when we get our chart readings done, I learn what I'm gonna. Well, I guess you're saying the same thing.
No, the natal chart. I'm not talking about the progression. In the next 6 months, this is what's going to happen.
Okay.
When you have the natal chart done, the astrologer says
you
to her,
understand more about yourself.
You came here to work on this, and be careful of that.
Okay, that's good. So it gives you an idea of what may come and what challenges you may experience, so you can be ready for it. I like that. That's
No,
true.
not. I don't even mean in the day to day. I mean the themes.
The themes.
You're
Yes.
going to get the themes of your movie from doing a Kabbalistic astrology reading.
Okay, that's good. That is a good answer. I would add to that when there is a concept in the Zohar about judgment, and we all need to become sensitive to. Sometimes it says that in the upper worlds our negativity is being assessed, and those are the times actually. How do you know that's happening in the upper worlds? When in the lower world, in your life, things just kind of go wrong a lot, and you kind of feel like something's not right. I've learned to be sensitive to this in my own life when I start making a lot of mistakes back to back, when a lot of things just start happening.
What do you mean mistake?
I'll give you an example. Like one morning I woke up, I just didn't feel like it was the right energy, and then some stuff happened in the morning that didn't go right. And then I got to my car, I had a ticket because I forgot to put a permit up. And then I said, okay. And then an hour later, I parked somewhere else and I got another ticket.
Whoa.
And I said, wait a minute. I said, I haven't got a ticket the whole year, and I got 2 in 1 hour. So right away, when 3 negative things happen to me very close together, I know, according to the Zohar, that there's a judgment going on in the upper worlds. What does that mean? They're assessing some negativity I've done, maybe against some positivity, and there's a balancing in the scales going on. And my teachers have taught me when that starts happening in the lower worlds, you have to go extra consciousness, extra positivity, extra humility, extra self-introspection to see what you need to transform. This is a sign from the universe that there is karma, there's baggage.
Chasing sharing. That's what I do when I chase opportunities
that,
to share.
That will be the day where
David stops and buys croissants for the whole office before he gets into work, kind of thing.
That's right. That's when my wife says, can you go pick something up? And instead of responding with, we have Postmates to do that, that's when I just get in the car and
Postmates is a delivery service we have in the LA metropolitan area. Not
yes.
everyone has
Why should I do it when Postmates could do it?
Right.
But what happens is when there is judgment, the Creator will send people to you to ask you for stuff, to give you the opportunity to share. So even though Postmates is very adequate to do the same thing that I can do, probably even better than I can do it, it is my opportunity to break through my discomfort, and then that sweetens the judgment in the upper world. So that's what I want to tell the audience. Be sensitive and try to find when you are in a time of judgment. And usually that means when 3 negative things are happening very close to each other. And you start to feel like everyone's kind of against you type thing. That means there's judgment in on the soul.
David also subtly brought up something that I think is another answer to Greg's question, is anything that you don't want to have to deal with is almost definitely part of your soul's correction.
That's good.
Like, nice. You pointed out actually last week that I don't remember what it was, but it had me laughing pretty hard. Something you didn't want to deal with. Now I don't even remember what it was.
Me? I said it?
Yeah, you were like, as an Aquarian, 2 people are fighting. I just want to bye-bye. Okay. I just take space.
I do remember something like that.
So any time that any situations or scenarios that you can say, I just don't want to deal with this, chances are it is essential for you to deal with it, right? Because the part of you that's saying you don't want to deal with it is not your soul. It's your ego. It's your emotional scars. It might even be your physical stamina, right? I don't have the brain space for this. I don't have the time for this. And you get impatient and you run away from it. This is the week, I think, if you can make a list of those things, by the way, the things that you don't want to have to deal with, not the things that, okay, you'll deal with it. You just, it's not right now on your plate. The things that you really don't want to have to deal with. Look at those things this week. And I think that you'll find deeper insight. I don't know if many of our listeners, I'm sure, have meditation practice, some sort of spiritual habit that you're in. Bring these questions into your meditation this week. Ask the universe to give you clarity on why this situation keeps on coming up. If you have a spiritual mentor that you work with, a teacher, ask your teacher for guidance, not because they know the answer, but because the universe is open. You may have a guru, priest, rabbi, etc. that you go to for advice. Ask them for insight, not because they know the truth and they're hiding it from you, or you haven't earned it yet, But because the universe is going to communicate with you in many ways this week on the things that you can work on, be open and receptive and welcome those clues and those answers into your process.
I want to add to what Elisheva said. When it comes to those things where we say, I don't want to deal with it, we have to be very clear that there are sometimes on the spiritual journey, we get to a place where we finally reclaim our strength. And maybe, let's say you have friends that are very negative. And now you've learned, instead of constantly being pacifying them and brown-nosing them and being okay with all this negativity, you might set boundaries and say, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm not going to put myself in this environment. That's a proactive thing to do, as opposed to something that's bothering you and you just have an escapism consciousness of, I just don't want to deal with it. That's different. That's us reacting to lack, pain, fear, doubt. That's reactive, and it's very subtle. So I want to emphasize the minute difference between the two. Me saying, I'm not going to be part of this negativity, I've made a decision. That's me consciously being proactive. Me saying, I don't want to deal with it because
Or I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. So you have to really kind of tune in to where you're coming from, because it's a subtle difference.
That was last week's show.
What it was?
See where you're coming from. Be really clear. And I hope that you guys see that also, that every week in this month really works together. The energies compound, and the end process is an elevated you.
That's right. That's right. Continue to comment, like, and share our posts. You're helping us spread our audience every week. We're getting emails from people all around the world saying, just heard about your show. This is great. I don't know what Kabbalah is, but it's opening me up to a spiritual path.
Right.
That's our hope.
And if you are listening to your first show or your second show or your third show, we want to invite you to get to know the wisdom of Kabbalah a little bit better by taking the masterclass at Kabbalah1.com, KABBALAHONE.com. We have a special coupon code for our listeners only, which is WEB30. It'll give you 30% off the list price for that course. And I don't know about you, but 40 hours plus of David, probably, I'm sure people would pay lots of money for that, but you get to pay 30% off because you're a listener.
Cheapening me.
Cheapening David. No, but it's an amazing show. And one of the things that David talks about there, there actually was a purpose to plugging the course, because one of the concepts that we talk about in Kabbalah 1 is that our tikkun is what attracts the triggers. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really important, because when you're triggered, it never looks like you're the problem.
Right.
When someone is behaving badly around you, when someone is bothering you, when someone is causing a problem in your life, it is very hard in that moment to say, I cooked this, I can eat it. Or, you know what I mean. I created this, and therefore I can uncreate it. I can do something about it. And that, I'm going to say it again slowly because it came out as a joke, but it's really one of the most profound themes in the Kabbalah 1 course, is that my tikkun, my correction, my purpose, right? Tikkun, loosely translated, is the reason I came to the world in this lifetime is the cause of the triggers around me, the people who bother me, the situations that challenge me, the difficulties I go through, the cause, the purpose. People, if you remember this always, the solutions will come to you so much easier. But what ends up happening is we're worried how that other person is making us feel. What's going to happen to my job? How is my child going to, disrespect me next time? Let it go for a second and realize, wait a second, the reason this is happening is because I need to grow. I need to change. I need to elevate. And if I don't elevate, this is going to be a constant trigger in my life.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for plugging in the Kabbalah 1. It's something that we worked on for years. I think last week when we started giving the promotion, we had a ton of our audience sign up for it. Somebody just wrote a testimonial that said, I just finished Kabbalah 1 and started Kabbalah 2. So we have 2 master classes. Best thing I've ever done. Need to find a support center in Las Vegas now. I'm so hooked. Love, heart sign. By the way, you don't even, I think coming to a center is sometimes overrated. We have an online reality that I'm saying that coming from a physical Kabbalah center. We have them all around the world, but that we have our online world is bigger than our physical locations. Of course, you can come visit and experience it, and it's very powerful. But we have so much content online, and we want people to be able to enjoy that content. So besides Kabbalah1.com, which is the way I suggest everybody to start, we have Kabbalah.com, which has 10,000 classes. More than I mean, it's really powerful. And by the way, somebody just wrote. I promise we're not plugging these things on purpose. The Kabbalah one we're plugging on purpose, but somebody just wrote if we have a discount for astrology or whatever. Anytime you want something of our services and you want us to create a special promotion for it, we have the power through our show to promote things that. At a promotional offer so that people can take advantage of it. We are a non-for-profit. It's all going to charity. It's not going to Elisheva and I. None of this money goes to us. All right, all of this goes to charity. This is why we're passionate about it. Yeah, if only. But it all goes to charity. It goes to spread this wisdom and help other people. So every time you're taking these courses, you're just helping other people who need financial aid or can't afford it and helping us spread the wisdom of Kabbalah in the world.
And that, by the way, connects to the third thing that I wanted to say. We've talked in the last few weeks about different opportunities you can take advantage of because of the energy of the month, of course, with the energy of the week. As people, right? I think the three things that keep us coming back lifetime after lifetime is deficits, or let's say I came to this world in this lifetime with a to-do list, right? A lot of people say, well, Elisheva, how come we don't know the to-do list? Why isn't the to-do list tattooed on my behind?
Why isn't it clear?
Right? Why isn't it obvious? Why do I have to, through trial and error, make lots of mistakes, end relationships, then find Kabbalah, and only then start? And by the way,
or any spiritual
I was going to say, it's not only Kabbalah. Yeah. I'm just talking to the ones who find Kabbalah. That why is there so much trial and error involved in the perfection of my soul? Why can't it just be... It's hard work, whether you struggle to find it. Even once you find it, it's still effort, right?
That's right.
Part of the reason that we continue to incarnate lifetime after lifetime is to be the cause, is to earn the wisdom, the understanding, the connection, the fulfillment. So even though we think we like to get things for free, right? And everybody likes free for a minute, right? Mm-hmm. Buy one, get one free. Brings a lot of sales in the retail world. But if
BOGO, the BOGO offer,
BOGO 50% off, a little bit less. But the idea that the real fulfillment in our lives comes from making the effort.
That's right.
A lot of our accumulation of tikkun comes from avoiding effort. And that's why I wanted to make a point before the show ends to put that in there. I know it's not the excitingest, juiciest thing we've said today, but if you're looking for more clues on where your spiritual work lies in this lifetime, look for the areas in which you don't want to make an effort, in which you want to coast or receive things for free or let other people make the effort for you.
That's right.
That is a big flashing neon sign to where the work is for you. And, I know I've worked with students who also come to me and say, listen, in a previous lifetime, I was let's say wife of a very wealthy business person and I didn't have to do anything. And I took advantage, they come with this whole tikkun list that they get from their astrology reading. And what am I supposed to do with this? Okay, we absorb it, we take it in. And then we say 6 months later, she's telling me, listen, the people in my office are not imbeciles, but useless. And I end up having to do all the work myself and I can't stand it. And then we have the memory of the astrological reading where in a previous lifetime, she was looking for the staff to do everything for her. Yeah. She brought that into this lifetime. And here the staff is refusing to do it. And how perfect that is and I'm using that as an example because to me, it's a real struggle. It's something I'm sure a lot of people have to deal with. And at the same time, understand that in any area of your life where you don't want to do the work, the universe is going to come to you and say, do the work, do the work, do the work until you get it.
To comment on that, the Kabbalists say that if something took a long time or a lot of effort or a lot of sacrifice, it is going towards paying a spiritual debt. And it's a good thing. Sometimes getting things too quickly, too easily. Forget even about the fact that, of course, you don't appreciate it, can't enjoy it that much. That's a separate issue. But when things do take a long time and there's a lot of rejection and a lot of pushback, and you keep pushing forward, and you don't take it personally, and you allow it to strengthen yourself, you allow yourself to maintain positivity, in fact, build the muscle of being certain and positive, all of that goes towards purifying the soul and putting more of the light of the Creator in your bank. And that will manifest later. So no energy goes to waste. No energy. All the effort that we make, even if we don't see the result right away, the spiritual effort through what we teach in Kabbalah, even if you don't see the result right away, in fact, it says those who don't see the result right away experience a tenfold of the miracles later on. We are all very anxious of seeing results right away. And I get that. we're all designed that way. But if you're in a situation in your life, you're not seeing the results you want, and you're putting in a lot of effort, I promise you, as long as you maintain your certainty and you keep planting those positive seeds, it will all come with interest flooded to you. It's kind of, it's kind of like a Roth IRA form of I don't know.
Just lost all the non-American listeners.
All right, forget it.
On that note, I want to, as David said before, invite you to continue to comment. I know at least on the Kabbalah Center page, I go over that a couple times a day to see if there's any questions or anything I can answer. David, hopefully you're looking at your page also.
I am.
We are
Oh, your husband commented on my page. Not on your page.
While you look for that.
No, I looked for it. Here it is. He wrote, "Thank you, honey. May the Creator give me more strength to be on time for everything."
You see?
A spiritual man.
Teamwork. We're a team.
Everyone should look for a spiritual man like this. Not your spiritual man.
Yeah, he's mine. He's taken. Sorry. So I'm not sorry. We are on Facebook, IGTV. By the way, IGTV is awesome. We are getting more and more people listening there every week. I love it. Yep. Seeing most of our listeners are, I think, from Brazil at this point. It's really cool.
That is cool.
IGTV, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Castbox, Stitcher. We are live on Facebook every Monday at 10 a.m. LA time, but you're more than welcome to comment on any of those platforms. Rate the podcast, like us, share, email us if you don't feel comfortable commenting in public. Our email address is energyboost@kabbalah.com. Have a fabulous revelatory week. Is that a word? Revelatory? And we'll see you next Monday. Oh, next Monday, by the way. All about relationships, all about soulmates, marriage, relationships.
That's correct.
It is going to be an awesome show.
I want to know there's so much to talk about. It can be 30 weeks worth of content. What specifically do people want to know about relationships? That's what I want to know. If you can put in the comments or email us. What do you want to know about relationships? I mean, there's so much to talk about.
We'll come up with a year's worth of shows from your comments. Have a fabulous week, everyone. And thank you for watching the Weekly Energy Boost.